And we are live. What is going on, everybody? And welcome to the Blue Brothers Podcast, episode 10 for the Wednesday, November 20th, 2024. I am your host, Domingo here on Network of the Ice Barrier. And in today's podcast, everybody, I'm going to be talking about one of the best fighting games of all time. And the fighting game I'm going to be talking about, it's a fighting game that a lot of people remember, a lot of people love from back in the days. And I'm talking about Marvel vs. Capcom 2. So we're gonna talk about that, discuss talking about one of the best fighting games of all time. So we're gonna get this started. But before we start, I want to let everybody know, how's everybody doing? Hope everybody is doing well. Hopefully, you have a wonderful day and stuff. So we're gonna get this started. So here we go. So Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is a legendary game. And let me tell you, we talk about so many different fighting games over the years, Super Smash Brothers, Street Fighter, Tekken, Mortal Kombat, Soul Calibur, you know, the Dead or Alive series, Marvel Capcom versus SNK and etc. But there is a fighting game series that a lot of people always remember for years, especially back in the days, Marvel versus Capcom series. But the best one out of all is definitely Marvel versus Capcom. It came out only in Japan in the arcade version, and PlayStation 2, 30th 2000, and in Europe, 2000. PlayStation 2 version of the Marvel vs. Capcom 2 came out on in Japan September 19, 2002, North America November 19, 2002, and in Europe November 29th, 2002. Then it came out in the original Xbox in Japan. It came out on September 19, 2002 in North America, which was on March 30th, 2003. So, and of course, it came out in the digital version of the Xbox Live Arcade worldwide on July 29, 2009, and the PlayStation Network on August 13th, 2009, and on the iOS on April 25th, 2012. Digital only for those. Now, Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is a fighting game where a game that, a lot of people praise and it got some pretty good, mostly positives. In the past, they had a little bit of mixed reviews, but it was more positive than a negative because, and at the end of the day, everybody has an opinion. Now, Marvel vs. Capcom 2, players selects a team of characters from the Marvel and Capcom universe to engage in combat in attempts to knock out their opponents. And of course, the game used similar tag team basic which mechanics to the season previous of the Marvel vs. Capcom 1, Clash of Superheroes. So it features several significant changes, such as a 3-on-3 gameplay, new character assist system, and a more simplified controls thing. The character arc will use traditional 2D animations, sprites, while the background and visual effects are rendered in 3D. This makes Marvel vs. Capcom 2 the first game in the franchise to feature a 2.5D graphics, which is pretty cool. So this game based on a 3-on-3 battle. So of course there is like a 90-second or a 99-second time limit. Now you start off by picking three characters of a team, and it could be anyone. And of course, the only way to win is that you have to defeat all three members of your opponent's team completely in order to win. And of course, I think they have like up to like I think 8 stages. So in this one, so of course, you could pick up to three. And of course, before we get this started, I want to talk about the characters that are in this roster. And this is a pretty good roster as well. We have a total of 56 playable characters altogether. So for the Marvel characters, we got Blackheart, Cable, Captain America, Colossus, Cyclops, Doctor Doom, Gambit, Hulk, Iceman, Iron Man, Juggernaut, Magneto, Marvel, Morrow, Omega Red, Cyclocky, Rouge, Sabretooth, Sentinel, Shuman, Gorat, Silver Samurai, Spider Man, Spyro, Storm, Thanos, Venom, War Machine, Wolverine, and of course the Wolverine with the bone claws. Now for the Capcom characters, we got Akuma, Amigo, Anna Curtis, BB Hood, Cammy White, Captain Commando, Charlie, Chun-Li, Dan Hibiki, Dawson, Felicia, Guile, Hayato Kanzaki, Jill Valentine, Jin Samoto, Ken Masters, M. Bison, Mega Man, American Azalan, Roll, Ruby Hart, Ryu, Sakura, Kasujino, Zerbot, Sun, Strength, Haru, Torboni, and Zangief. So those are all the 56 characters in this game, in this roster. Pretty impressive roster to say the least. Of course, in this game, it's both a single player and a multiplayer as well. So this game has an arcade mode where the players must defeat 7 AI control teams to reach to the final boss character. And of course, the final boss character we're talking about, his name is Abyss, who has, of course, is one of the boss monsters, the final boss monster that you have to defeat 3 times. Of course, Abyss has sport 3 different form, unlike previous games in the series. So it's pretty good. Of course, Capcom Marvel vs. Capcom 2 does not have any character specific ending, as the player will earn the same ending regardless to the character they use to complete arcade mode. So yes. So the only thing I could say about Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is, as much as I mean, I love the game so much, it's very legendary. I think one of the only issue I have with this one is that they don't have an option where you can actually fight an AI character in like a regular different mode, because the only modes that I know they have is like what the arcade mode, but they don't have an option where like, oh, you could fight like a player one versus CPU, or player two versus CPU, or CPU versus CPU. And they don't have an option where like, you could pick any character or any stage. Like they don't have that option. They only have the option of an arcade mode where you have to fight all the way until you get to the final boss and stuff, which is kind of a shame. But despite that, it's still a fun game to play. And of course, they do have like hyper combo engage, and they also got like a scoreboard and all that stuff, similar to arcade modes and pits. It's very, very good. And of course, you can try to assemble the highest score possible without using a continue as well. So the more score points, the more you can continue to compete. So it's actually pretty cool, all that stuff as well. Now, I will say, if I remember in the physical versions of the Sega Dreamcast version of Marvel vs. Capcom 2, they had like feature online play through Capcom Managed Service Network, limited to 2 separate Dreamcast systems. The 360 and PS3 digital versions, have both feature online multiplayers and player ranks and rank matches and lobbies and stuff like that. And speaking of the digital versions, now the digital versions for the Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, and iOS, they did have you know came out as digital only. However, it was on December 15th, 2013, that Capcom announced that Marvel vs. Capcom 2 has been removed from the Xbox Live Arcade and PlayStation Arcade, as well as the iOS version that was delisted on the Apple App Store. The reason why they delisted those off there is because of the Capcom licensing had expired with Marvel Comics, and that's why they had to pull it off. So, yeah, which is kind of a shame. Uh, but on the flip side, there is something I can tell you as well, and I'm talking about Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is actually going to be coming back as part of a collection that is available now digitally. And that collection I'm talking about, Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection Arcade Classic. That's right. So the digital version of that is available now digitally on Steam, PlayStation 4, and Nintendo Switch stores. The physical version is going to be coming out this Friday, which is in 2 days coming up, which is November 22nd, Friday, November 22nd, 2024. So Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is going to be part of that collection along with other fighting games, which is actually pretty cool. And the fact that we can actually play that in modern consoles is amazing. And I always love the idea of them bringing classic old school game into a modern console so we can play it like back in the good old days. And speaking of the good old days, I remember I used to go to the arcades after school. I remember saving all my quarters, playing the arcade version with a couple friends. Oh my god, it was so much fun. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of excuse. Sorry about that, guys. I was yawning. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. Like One First Calculator was amazing. Like it's an amazing game overall. Very fun, very impressive. Like it was a lot of fun. It was incredible. A lot of fighting game was amazing. I remember playing the arcade version was so much fun. And the fact that they're actually gonna bring this game back in this collection of Marvel vs. Capcom Arcade Classic, the Fighting Collection Arcade Classic, it's amazing. Like, it's pretty cool. I'm so excited. I am gonna get it physically. I don't need to get the digital. I want to get the physical version that for the PlayStation 4 and Nintendo Switch. So I'm so excited. And also the Xbox One version is gonna be coming out next year in 2025. And the reason why it's coming out next year is because when they first announced this, there was no physical version for the Xbox or digital version for that matter. And the fans criticized, was so upset about that, especially Xbox, fans, that why is this collection not in there? But Capcom did announce that it will be coming out on Xbox One next year, physically and digitally in 2025. So that's pretty good. At least the Xbox players actually will get this arcade classic because it was a bad idea to begin with. Like having no like this game is supposed to come out Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, but it's not coming out for the Xbox, which is kind of a shame. But at least they did announce that later on after the backlash, of course. So that's good. So that means we actually get it. And if you have an Xbox Series X, you can actually play this game backwards compatibility, which is pretty cool. If you have a PlayStation 5, you can also play this backwards compatibility as well, since the PS5 does play PlayStation 4 games, while the Xbox Series X does play Xbox One game, which is cool. So even though they never released it on those consoles, you can actually use them as backwards compatibility to play them. So it's pretty cool. So yeah, overall, I'm looking forward to it. I'm so excited for this Friday once I get my hands on this fighting collection game. So I could, and of course, the first game I'm definitely gonna play first. The first fighting game I'm gonna play first when this come out this Friday physically. I am going to be playing Marvel vs. Capcom 2 because I haven't played that game in years since the arcade days. So yeah, that's gonna be it for this podcast. I know, yeah, it's a short podcast, but just want to talk about Marvel vs. Capcom. And there's no doubt Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is one of the best fighting games of all time. We talk about Nintendo, we talk about Super Smash Bros., we talk about Street Fighter, we talk about Tekken, we talk about Mortal Kombat, we talk about Soul Calibur, all these other different fighting games. But there is one fighting game that we will never forget and we all love, and that is the Marvel vs. Capcom series. Basically, Marvel vs. Capcom 2. The first one was good. Second one is awesome. The third one is okay. It wasn't that bad, but it was actually fun though. It was good. But Infinite, that was a disappointment. That was disappointing. I did not like Infinite at all. So that game sucks. Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite sucks. Let's just be honest here. But Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is the best. So very happy to looking forward to get that game. All right, so that's gonna be it for this podcast, guys. Yeah, it's a short one, but there's nothing else to say about it. Other than I'm so excited to looking forward to playing Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Like I said before, this game is already available now digitally. If you want to go to your PlayStation 4 store and the Nintendo Switch eShop, you can get it digitally if you want, or you can wait until this Friday on November 22nd to get the physical version of PlayStation 4 and the Nintendo Switch physical of Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Oh, and just want to let everybody know that the North America version of the Nintendo Switch Marvel vs. Capcom 2 physically will have a cartridge inside as well. So thank God for that because I found out that in Europe, the Marvel vs. Capcom 2 for Nintendo Switch is going to have a coded box. And I'm thinking to myself, why? Why would you make that in coded box in here? I feel bad for the people in Europe because why would you have a coded box and not put the cartridge in? It's a good thing that the cartridge is happening in North America. If Because if that would have happened in North America or even the other countries, then that wouldn't have sucked, you know. But it sucks that that Europe is not going to have a cartridge version of Marvel vs. Capcom 2 for the Nintendo Switch, and they only get like the code and box. I thought that was dumb by Capcom. That's a stupid decision by Capcom. It's not Nintendo's idea, to be fair. It's actually a Capcom idea. So yeah, but thank God we're actually going to get the physical version of Marvel vs. Capcom Nintendo Switch in the cartridge in the box. So at least we got that. I feel bad for the European people because they wanted to get the physical versions, although they can actually import it too, since the Nintendo Switch does have region fleet. Like you can create an account with a different North American account and stuff like that. So you could do that as well. So yeah, that's gonna be it for this podcast. So don't forget to make sure you like this video. Make sure you like this podcast, excuse me, like this podcast, give it a thumbs up, share this podcast out, subscribe to the Blue Brothers podcast, and also tap the notification bell so that way you'll be notified when I upload a new podcast. And that's going to be it for this podcast, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Domingo here on Echo the Iceberg, and all I can say, you all can have a wonderful day. Take care, be safe, and Domingo here on Echo of the Iceberg is signing out. So peace and have a good day, everybody, and be safe.